the emotional aspect of it was a lot. Like it was a long time before I slept, because you just constantly get these flashbacks. As an Irish woman, like, we don't want violence on our streets. We don't want racism. That is not something that we find acceptable. He's really the one who was brave, and he's really the one who changed my life.
Do you face any backlash, criticism, or fear?
I didn't do anything wrong. So it shocked me that anybody would actually even have this fear of doing the right thing. So people kind of reached out and said, you know what, actually this happened to me, this happened to me. And that was really, really sad to read, because like all of these stories started with,
what is your opinion about the Indian cultures?
What do you know of the Irish?
Do you face any backlash, criticism, or fear after that incident?
No, would be like my overall answer. I know when I came home and I made the video, I didn't actually tell anybody I made the video. So I made a video after the incident that went viral, which is what publicised what was going on. And it was the next morning then I had to tell my partner that I had made this video. When I went to bed, it was at like 2,000. So I was like, it's fine, And then when I woke up, it was at like 4,000. And I was like, that's still fine. But by the time I had made breakfast, it was like 40,000. So I was like, okay, I should probably tell him that I made this. He actually was fearful. He was like, oh my God, what if, people come for us, come for our house, come for our children.
But it's normal to think, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think as a man, you're protective of your family.
Yeah.
And I was like, what? I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
So it shocked me that anybody would actually even have this fear of doing the right thing. Does that make sense? And like any sort of backlash that you would get for me would just be crazy, because what are you giving backlash to? Somebody who helped somebody on the side of the street? That makes no sense. My video went, like, I think at the moment, let's just say it's at like 614,000 views on my page. So it's in the millions, when you put it across all the platforms. And not one single person has come to me directly with a negative comment. And I think that that's like a really positive message to like, don't be afraid to do the right thing.
Exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm not sitting here telling you, oh my God, because I done this, I now can't do X, Y, or Z. I did the right thing. I didn't do anything else. And I don't know anybody who can argue against somebody who's trying to be peaceful, somebody who's trying to help somebody in need. And I would like to think it's not just luck. I would like to think that it is some sort of universal reward for doing the right thing, that I have also been protected, that I haven't had to suffer this 100%, backlash.
Yes.
And, there's a lot of comments underneath the video. And I was about a week into it and I had about 2,000 comments, and I've tried so hard to reply to everybody's or to like it, to acknowledge it, because, people have gone out of their way. And I just thought to myself, oh my God, every single comment is positive. And then I realized that my settings were set to most relevant. Okay. So on Facebook, you can have just most relevant comments. So then when I hit like all comments, there was some negative comments. Okay. So I just went back to most relevant and then they disappeared.
Yes.
And the truth is the positive ones are the most relevant ones, so
we're just looking into the positive output,
like Facebook was right. Like it automated anything that was negative. It wasn't directed towards me. It's people who have opinions that you will never change, but as far as like what I have like had directly like put towards me, it's been really kind, really positive, and it's actually been a really nice incentive to continue to be kind, to continue to voice the truth and peace and do the right thing. For sure.
From your perspective, have you heard or seen any kind of an incident in Ireland?
So since this has happened, yes, which makes me really sad. I'd love to say no. I'd love to say this is the only one that's ever happened. It was one of a kind. But it was one of the things that stood out to me after it happened was how many people contacted me to let me know what had happened to them. Then in the media, it was also publicised that, there were more attacks after that. Some of them almost as severe, innocent people travelling to work on buses, on bikes, walking through parks, and these attacks happened. It's frightening to me that they continued to happen after this one became so public, that it was not enough to kind of stop them, that the awareness was out there. And the attacks that I've heard of, Some of them are minor, not to take away from how hurtful they are or how impactful they are on somebody's life. Some of them are minor. But yeah, it's sad to say, but a lot of people have come to me with the experience of something happening
Especially
to them.
after the video is actually out to the social media,
Yeah.
you will be getting a lot of messages in Facebook or in Instagram about their stories.
Yes. So people kind of reached out and said, you know what, actually this happened to me, this happened to me. And that was really, really sad to read because like all of these stories started with, I was walking down the road or I was collecting my child from school or, nobody was doing anything that provoked any sort of, justification in an attack like that. It was all very innocent, normal, everyday behavior.
Yeah.
That was really sad to me to hear that people were living that, in everyday life, in normal circumstances, people were having to deal with attacks.
Yes.
Not to this severity. Okay, so like, let me emphasize, not everybody was coming to me saying they were stabbed or they were beaten or they were stripped. Not like that, okay?
Not like that,
No, but certainly racially abused, had names called at them, had things thrown at them, which none of that is acceptable. Like, it's not okay. And then lots of people, we had a chat before this and you were like, no, I've had a great experience in Ireland. You're like 22 years?
22 years
in
Ireland.
And you've never had to deal with this.
No.
And that also happened. A lot of people messaged me as well to say, you know what, this is horrific. I've lived here for 20 years, 15 years. I've driven a taxi or I've worked in a hotel, whatever the case may be. And I've never witnessed anything but kindness from the Irish people. So it was
see it as a proud, it's a very beautiful country.
Yeah.
I proudly say that even if I go to my home country, I say that it's a beautiful country to live.
Yeah.
Very peaceful country.
Yeah. Yeah.
The people is very calm when I say that way, So when we hear all those things, like, we think back, what is happening in this world?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it was sad that more happened. I definitely think that like highlighting it and becoming aware of it, and it has given the Indian people in Ireland the ability to speak up about it, to not be ashamed of it, to not brush it under the carpet, to not accept somebody saying that there's nothing that they can do about it. You are worthy of having the same justice as anybody else, and these attacks should not be happening. So the publicity of it, I definitely will think will help in the long run. And it's not all of the time and it's not every day, but there's no point in hiding the truth, because it's the truth that needs to be dealt with, and they are happening and they did happen.
What role do you think each individual in building a more inclusive society in Ireland?
I think it's everybody's business. I said that in my video. I think it's important not to keep turning away from what's happening, and we don't all have to jump into scenes of crimes, and put ourselves in danger or anything like that. But we certainly have a responsibility to stand up where we can. And, if we are a positive voice, then we need to be loud about being positive. If the negativity doesn't represent who we are as Irish people, as human beings, then we need to be very clear on that. It is not acceptable to be quiet if you have something important to say that, for example, like you want peace, that you don't agree with racism, that you're happy for all people are welcome in your country. You need to be loud about that. And then I think like on really small levels, like as an Irish person, me as a neighbour, I think it's important to acknowledge people as we walk down the street. Like I know lots of people from the Indian community have said to me that they're afraid, to walk on their own now, if it's like maybe going to the gym in the evenings or to temple, because some of the temples are open later and stuff like that. And like I've always said, like I encourage you, if you're walking down the road, walk with somebody. Like if you're an Irish person or you're somebody who feels confident to go up and talk to somebody, walk with them if you're going in the same direction. Because the thing is, in these incidents where you are a completely innocent person and it is the colour of your skin or it is, the mood that these attackers are in that causes this, none of us are safe, and it is coming together that is what will make the difference. It is being loud about the fact that you agree with everybody being inclusive, like let's drown out the really bad noise and let's make some nice noise, like raise the frequency. Like
that's a nice thing to say.
I think that's really important because it's not okay to disagree with it but to do nothing about it. I think you have to be vocal, you have to stand up and say, No.
Exactly.
That you're not speaking for me.
Yeah.
I don't think that, and to educate yourself.
Exactly.
Educate yourself on things.
Yeah.
Also a big, contribution to how severe the attack was on this particular incident was the mob mentality and was the belief of a vicious rumor that was spread online. And I think we all have an individual responsibility to not just jump on a bandwagon, not just see a picture, make an assumption, and then completely believe what you've been told.
Yeah.
We have to look further. We have to look and see, first of all, it's the authorities' job to, enforce any sort of punishment for any sort of behavior. Okay.
Exactly.
So it's not, we don't live in a society where, civilians punish each other.
Yeah.
You report incidences to the police if something happens. You don't jump on a mob mentality because somebody down the road has told you something where you've no evidence. And then you become part of this situation which is escalating, based on a rumor. So I really think we have a responsibility to come back to our own thinking, and to educate ourselves and to make our decisions based on what we know as opposed to what we've maybe been told or what we think or what somebody else said. Because this incident didn't have to be as severe as it was. He could have got help a lot quicker before I came.
Before you came.
Yeah, if people hadn't have adapted
because
that
it's
mob.
only at 6 p.m. in the evening, so people are going around.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. So I think we all have a responsibility.
Yes.
I think this is everybody's business.
Yes.
I truly do.
Yes. Jennifer, the story has touched many. How do you think it has changed you personally?
Wow. It has. Instantly after it happened, the man is the victim in this circumstance in every way, shape and form. I never, ever, ever want to portray myself as a victim, but I was completely traumatized. You don't ever expect to come upon something like that. The emotional aspect of it was a lot. Like it was a long time before I slept, because you just constantly get these flashbacks.
I was about to ask you that as well.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
And you wake up in the middle of the night and you think, oh my God, what happened and should I have done something different? And, you replay it all in your head. It was quite traumatic for a while.
Yes.
I was also catapulted into this media circus, essentially. Do you know what I mean? Where I was so conscious of trying to do it justice as much as possible. I wanted people to know the truth. I wanted justice. I wanted, a complete turn of events as far as the narrative that was out there at the time. And I was trying to kind of make sure that all of that was looked after, I think in a way that kind of saved me from the trauma, because it gave me a purpose in the situation to focus on and to make sure that I was doing all that I could.
Yes.
It's actually made me want to be a kinder person. Okay, so
you're already kind of person.
Yeah, I think I am. And that's not to brag. Kindness is important to me. I teach my children to be kind. It's a trait that I look for in friends. I think it's important.
Maybe this situation gave you an opportunity to show yourself how kind you are. That kind of thing.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I think so.
It's kind of a self-reflection.
Yes, I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I think so. And I like being kind, it's enjoyable, it's easy, it's nice, and it's made me want to continue to be kind.
Yes.
And when you see the impact, regardless of anything, okay, so you take the video out of it, you take all the media out of it, when you see somebody in a situation like that, and when you just offer them kindness, because I didn't, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a policeman, I didn't fix anything. Just sat with another human and told him from another human it was going to be okay. Just kind. That's the truth. I wasn't brave or courageous or, a superhero. I was just kind in an extremely unkind situation. But his gratitude and his relief was enough incentive to want to be kind forever to everybody, It has made me more aware of negative things, and that's the truth, that I probably would have kind of lived maybe a bit of a sheltered life, a bit of a privileged life. It's not anything that I've ever had to think of before. So it has changed me in that way to become more aware of, how other cultures live, how other cultures maybe suffer might be a strong word, but, how they have to live differently in our country. And it has also like completely immersed me in Indian culture, because Indian people have just wrapped me up like a baby and brought me everywhere with them for the last few weeks. And it has just been unbelievable. Like, and that has been such a massive impact on me to meet these people, to share food with them, to go to their homes, to share your cultural celebrations, the opportunity to speak on behalf of Irish people at your India Day events and things like that, and to be able to be a voice that says, like, you know, as an Irish woman, like, we don't want violence on our streets. We don't want racism. That is not something that we find acceptable. And it has given me the confidence to very much so stand up and say that really, really loudly. So it's changed lots of parts of me. And I think it has overall completely changed me for the better. I'm always very conscious that for all of this to have had happened for me, this man was attacked, you know, and sometimes I feel like he's been a bit of a sacrificial lamb, you know, because none of this would be happening not without me. None of this would be happening without him. Like, he had to get attacked for all of this awareness to be raised, for me to be in a position to help, for me to make that video. Nothing could have happened without him. You know, so I think actually he has been absolutely, completely like the anchor of the entire situation, you know. And that seems a little bit unfair because of what he went through for all of this to have to happen. He consistently said to me, actually, I just don't ever want it to happen to anybody else. I thought that just was such a, like a warrior kind of thing to say, you know, like he was such a martyr. And I just kept saying to him, it shouldn't have happened to him. Like, he was important too.
Exactly.
You know, so knowing him now.
The person is important in this earth, you know, in this world.
So, absolutely. And it's not a situation that should have happened ever, you know, in any way, shape or form. But the fact that he was just so dignified in the whole thing allowed me to then be loud, allowed me to do these interviews, allowed me to get this out there, you know. So he's really the one who was brave, and he's really the one who changed my life, you know, because of his actions and what he allowed me to do. Like,
Jennifer, what is your opinion about the Indian cultural celebration we are celebrating in Ireland?
Okay, let me ask you a question. Okay, what do you know of the Irish around the world?
Like, you mean the celebration? Like, we know the St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
You know, we celebrate it.
Okay.
When I say celebrate
it. Is it quiet?
It's not quiet, actually.
No.
You know,
is it loud?
Everyone is happy.
Yes.
Like, that will be my thinking when I'm looking into the crowd. Everyone is happy. That is the day everyone is out. And, you know, it is actually the beginning of summer. You know, so we are actually waiting for that day to happen. We are, you know, it's a bank holiday. So it's kind of
it's
a happy
big parade.
And
let's
everyone is happy.
Everybody's happy.
Exactly.
A lot of people are drunk. Okay, that's true. That's part of the Irish culture. I don't drink, but lots of people do. It's loud. There's parades. There's music. It's in lots of towns. And it's also all over the world. It's in Chicago. It's in Australia. You know, it's in Canada. They turn the entire river green in Chicago. Okay, so it's not a minor, quiet, you know, in a small parish hall celebration. It's massive. We go and we take over on St. Patrick's Day because it is so embedded into us that this is the day where Ireland celebrates who they are. Okay? Now, how would we ever have a right to say somebody isn't welcome to do that in our country? How would we ever have a right to say, don't play your music? Don't bring your colour here. Don't be happy in my country. Like, it would just be off the wall. Your celebrations are like a lot of food, a lot of colour, a lot of laughing, a lot of community, a lot of
music.
Like, a lot of music. Okay, you know, because we maybe don't understand it, because we maybe don't know about it, then that doesn't mean that it's something to be feared. You know, it like, I've been to one or two in the last few weeks, okay? And it is like just a really nice party. Like, you know, and who doesn't need more joy in the world? It doesn't matter what you're celebrating, okay? To you it does. To us, it's not important. From our outside point of view, if all we hear is a bit of music and a lot of happy people, and we're going around the world turning rivers green, getting drunk on the streets with green shamrocks on our faces and green curly wigs, we have no right to ever question what people do in our country that is involving happiness and coming together of people. What I would say is, like, bring it and invite us. And let's all celebrate together.
Will you agree if I say celebration is to enjoy?
Yeah. Like there's nothing negative about it. Like absolutely nothing negative about it. And I think as long as we're one of the loudest cultures, because we are, like you ask anybody, you know, like a famous singer who's played a concert in Ireland, we're the loudest crowd. You know, like we love a party, we love crack, you know, we love a drink, we love an ease up, we love a sing song. So you just do it in a slightly different way to us with like really big drums, you know, but there's nothing negative about it. So I don't see anything negative in it. I think anybody who does, I don't know, like, they've got a lot more going on. That's not the real issue. Like, you know, there's no reason not to celebrate these things. Like, they're beautiful. It's fun. It's happy. It's raising the frequency, and it's what the world needs more of, for sure.
To give to people who is experiencing discrimination in Ireland?
So first of all, it shouldn't be happening, and it's not okay. You know, like, don't dismiss it in your own mind as, you know, oh, well, I'm in this country, or, you know, I shouldn't have done this, or maybe if that, like, there's absolutely no justification for it whatsoever. I think a really important thing that needs to start happening consistently is reporting it. And being very forceful in your report. If you go to a police station and they refuse to take your report, demand that they take your report, because you're important. And what's happening to you shouldn't be happening. And what's happening is breaking the law. And, you know, we have a authority, we have somebody to go to, and it is their job to respect that and to take those reports. And that then, you know, brings together a truthful body of information as to how frequent these are, how severe they are. Because if those reports are not being taken, it's very easy to say these aren't on the rise. But you're not actually taking real figures into account, you know? I don't think anybody should put themselves in danger, but I think people should walk with their heads held high. They have a right to be here. They are positive, contributing members of our society who are welcome. There are hundreds and thousands and millions of people who support them in this country and who want them here. And I would hate for anybody to ever feel like it was them that was the problem, because it's not. Anybody who's being discriminative towards you, they have a bigger problem, and it's not you, you know. But I want everybody to know that there is more people here who want them than who don't. And always remember that. You know, you are worthy to be here.
There
to
will
be anywhere.
Always a Jennifer in this world to help you, right?
Oh, you know, like, we're all human. Like, you know, like, I'm no better than anybody else. Like, you know, we're all human. We're all together in this, just trying to do our best every day of the week. And we all deserve our place and our 2 feet on this earth. Like, you know.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Thank you.